Hello and welcome to program 91. In this program, what we're doing is taking 6 ETFs, exchange traded funds, some of which are in sectors such as technology, semiconductors, consumer discretionary, and some are in things like utilities and consumer staples, etc. And what we do, we take the 3 that are in the more perhaps risk-oriented or growth-oriented side, and we take the 3 that are in the more defensive side, and we look for a percentage change over a number of bars, that number of bars being an input. And then having got that change as a percentage, we then weight it based on the sectors that a particular ETF is in. So for example, if it is in the technology sector, then that represents a certain percentage of the market. We then calculate based on that percentage so that no percentage change is shown more than it should be. It's basically just using how much it affects the market based on the size of that sector. So let me show you the inputs. And you'll see that we've got, first of all, the number of bars. So what this is doing when we calculate the percentage change, this is based on this look back period number of bars. You could change that whatever you like. I've added some guidance in the comments of the program. In terms of the colors, these can be any color object. So in the case we're looking at the moment, spring green and maroon. And then the symbols, so the on symbols, the ones that are perhaps more risk on, as you might say, or growth orientated. I've got SMH, XLK, and XLY, and then the more defensive or risk off symbols, I've got XLP, XLU, and XLV, and you can change those clearly depending on what you want. And then we've got some values here which are used in the weighting of the symbols. So we can look at that a little bit here in the program page. So I'm just going to close that and go to the program page. You'll see we've got those same symbols described here. And then the calculation is based on the sector percentage totaling up to 100%. Of each of the sectors. So I go through the calculation here. So for example, you can see that technology is about 27% of the S&P, consumer discretionary 10%, semiconductors 7%, etc. Now, one thing to bear in mind is semiconductors, that's part of technology. So we actually subtract that from the technology so that we can work out each the weights correctly. So that becomes technology 20%, consumer discretionary 10%, semiconductor 7%, and so on. We add all those up, 20 plus 10, 37, 47, blah, 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 blah. That comes to a total of 60, and then we can get a normalized weight. So we've got 0.33, 0.167, 0.117, etc. And those are the values that we put in the study, the input. So if, for example, you were to decide, well, I want to use some different ETFs or symbols, you would need to review these values here. And of course, every now and again, be important to review how big those sectors are, because within a longer period of time, clearly some sectors are going to be getting rather changing size compared to others. Now, in terms of programming, this program uses price series providers, so unfortunately can't be used in multi-charts, although you could create something similar using multiple symbols. But this just makes it easier when you apply it to a chart. You don't need to then apply a data 2, data 3, data 4, data 5, etc. You can use the price series provider, and we look at the program. Apart from the price series provider, there is a method to create the price series providers, and also a method to take a color string and make that into a format that the plot can plot the color. So rather than having to say green or red or one of the standard TradeStation colors, you can use any of the color objects And what I've done is on the program page, I've included quite a lot of detail about what the program does and how you might interpret it. Of course, you might disagree with my suggestion that certain sectors are growth orientated and others are defensive. And of course, you can use your own any symbols you wish. The other thing is, in terms of the colors, you can go down to the bottom. You can see all the colors that are available for including in the plots. Okay, so hopefully you might find this useful. Let me know. Of course, I've tested it, but if you see any bugs or any problems, and also please subscribe to the Markplex email list, and I've included a subscription thing on the program on the web page, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much.